Hey guys, so I'm going to be reviewing a movie today. We're in the old setup again. Honestly, I'm just so lazy to go and like set up all the lighting and everything for my dining room setup. So we're back to the old place just for this video, really. But I don't think you guys really care where I film these videos, so that's kind of why I thought it would be okay to be lazy today. So I'm going to be talking about a movie today that I wasn't actually planning on. It's not on the list of movies that I wanted to review. It's called A Haunting in Silver Falls, I think. I don't know why I can never remember it. I was trying to like Google image things and I just couldn't remember the name of it. A Haunting in Silver Falls, I think. Haunting at Silver Falls? One of those. Anyway, so this movie was actually, it was funny, after I had filmed my The Awakening review and I had, gone to the movie on Netflix, it, as a recommendation at the end of the movie was A Haunting at Silver Falls. And so I clicked on it and pressed play, but normally when I do that, spur of the moment, I don't like to watch movies spur of the moment, I kind of plan them. I plan like a time to sit down and like fully invest myself in it, but this one I just kind of like clicked, I'm like, oh, I'll play it. And that's how we got here today. But honestly, it was interesting enough that I really wanted to watch it. Like throughout the film, I really liked certain aspects of it, so let me get into those. Well, first let me tell you a little bit about the storyline. It's about this girl named Jordan who moves in with her aunt and uncle, her mother's sister. Her parents had died. They don't really go into the backstory about her parents, except her mother had drowned, and then I don't remember how her father died. Basically, her parents died, so she went to live with her aunt and uncle in Silver Falls. And I believe it's in Oregon. I saw a license plate in the movie and I just assume it's Oregon because the license plate was Oregon. I don't know if Silver Falls is real or a fictional town. So she moves there, she gets a boyfriend in her high school, and he's, kind of a part of the movie, I guess. And then there's this other guy who's kind of like the douchey guy who's trying to basically just sleep with her. And her boyfriend gets a little bit jealous, but that's like a complete side story, and I don't know, it's not really relevant, but those kind of side stories, when it involves like teens in high school, are kind of my favorite in these kind of movies. I think that's why I liked it so much, is because it did involve like a teen story, and that's like one of my favorite types of movies are teen movies, I don't know. So that's why it really kept me wanting to watch it more, is because of the teen backstory and like her story. The acting actually wasn't that great. This is kind of like a B movie. A lot of reviews said that it was very unprofessional, and I do agree with them to a certain extent. But movies are hard to make, and so I always give props where I can because I know how hard they are to create from nothing. So I have all respect for all directors and, any person who makes movies, because it's really hard. So I did like a lot of aspects of this movie, surprisingly. Actually, some of them are really cheesy, not gonna lie. Some of the scares were kind of cheesy and overdone. I'd say that this isn't the most original movie out there. It's seemed a little bit done, a little redundant for the horror genre, I'd say. So at this town where she lives now, it's basically haunted by these two twin girls who were murdered, and throughout the movie you kind of learn a little bit more about their backstory and whatnot, but she finds a ring in the forest, and when she puts it on, she realizes she can't take it off. And so later that day or that night when she's trying to sleep, you see one of the twins come into her room and try and get the ring off. I thought that was really creepy, and I thought that was pretty original. It was like shaking her hand around, like trying to get the ring off. I don't know, it was weird. The whole ring thing was weird, but the rings played an important role in the movie. So she has this ring, she can't get it off. And then she starts seeing things, like seeing one of the twins, and things in her house are moving around on their own, and so she goes to the library to like investigate paranormal and stuff like that, but nothing's there because it's a high school library. And so she gets her boyfriend to try and help her, and she confides in him to help her out, and she trusts him. Soon enough, though, her aunt and uncle realize that she's acting a little weird, and their stuff is gone, and they find it in her room. But she didn't actually take it. So there's money, a scarf, and things like that that she didn't take, but they ended up, you know, showing up in her room. So basically they said, you need to see a therapist. So they send her to her boyfriend's father, who's a psychiatrist, who doesn't like her. There's a whole little story to that, but that's not really important. Basically, he doesn't like her, so they make her see him for therapy and stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of the basis of it. And then things happen throughout the film. Obviously, it progresses. I forgot to grab my list of things. Hold on. So none of the characters in this movie are what they appear to be. Everybody turns out to be like a different person from who they actually are. And I thought that was really interesting. It was basically all of them except for her and maybe a couple other people. But everybody ended up being like a different type of person than you expect, which I thought was interesting. As far as special effects go, the ghosts throughout the movie, in the beginning they're transparent, and then towards the middle and end they're opaque. And I don't know if they did that on purpose, like she's slowly, acknowledging them and so they become opaque, or, she just can barely see them in the beginning because they're so transparent. I don't know what the idea was behind that. I don't know if they meant to be inconsistent with that or if it was symbolic of something, but that was just one thing I noticed. One thing I liked about the special effects, though, is that it was so easy to recreate, and I thought that was actually a good thing. They didn't use special effects or anything in this movie, really. It wasn't super gory or anything like that, so if you're not a fan of gore, this would be a good movie for you. The ghost did look scary at first, and then it was kind of like Mama, where you see him so much, you become like immune to them. I don't know, because you see them so much and you realize they're actually good. They're not trying to harm her, they're trying to tell her something. So that was interesting. But overall they were scary, but it was definitely something you could recreate for Halloween, and I got so many ideas just looking at their clothes and their makeup. I thought it would be interesting to do something like that for Halloween because it'd be something really easy because it's not a whole lot of special effects involved in it. This movie had good character development, I thought, because every character ended up being somebody that they don't appear to be, I guess you would say. They have development, and I thought that was pretty interesting. The characters don't really stay stagnant in who they are. They all kind of change, which is kind of rare for horror movies, I think, because horror movies tend to be just like people dying or something. Not a lot of backstory most of the time. At least when people think of like horror, I don't think they think of good character development. So towards the end of this movie, this is one of the movies I was actually hoping for a happy ending, and I actually got kind of anxious watching it. Watching everything unfold and all the things that were going on, because, I don't know, I just wanted there to be a happy ending, and I'm not like that with movies. I don't like root for the protagonist or anything. It's just how I was in this movie. I don't know, I was actually kind of hoping for it. It did happen, but not in a good way. I did not like the ending of this at all. I thought it was so cheesy and stupid. I don't know, it was just kind of lame. Like, it just kind of fizzled. And it was like, there you go. I'm gonna go into a spoiler here at the end about the ending that I thought was pretty interesting, but somewhat predictable. So I'm gonna get into that now. If you don't want to know it, turn it off. So what ends up happening is Jordan discovers that her uncle is actually, well, not her uncle, her aunt, and uncle are a duo that kill people. And while he doesn't kill them, the aunt does, he still kind of tortures them. And so eventually they decide that they're going to kill Jordan because she's discovering too much and she's, I don't know. So they put her down in the basement and tie her up. And the aunt leaves to go get supplies for the murder they're going to perform on her. And so he's left behind with her, and so he releases her and he's like, you need to go fast. And she gets to the top of the stairs, the door's locked. That's part of his game. He likes to make them think that they're free, and then he'll go back and torture them some more. I don't know. So I thought that was pretty weird. But I actually saw this coming. I don't know. I felt like the two characters of the aunt and uncle were too predictable. Like it could have been somebody else, like her boyfriend or something, I don't know, who like killed the twins, but well then actually no, they couldn't have been because the twins died 20 years prior and he's like in high school, so that's not gonna happen. But yeah, I just thought it was too predictable that it would be, well actually I thought it was going to be the uncle. Because he was kind of sketch the whole movie. He was like touching her weird, and I thought there was gonna be like a rape scene with that. Luckily there wasn't, because I'm not a fan of that. Like I thought there was gonna be like somewhat incest, even though they're not blood related. I was expecting something like that, but it ended up being her aunt who's the actual killer, but technically they work together to capture people and kill them. Overall, I'd say give this movie a try if you're interested in somewhat of a B-type horror. It's not really scary at all. I got a little scared, like I was scared to go to sleep that night, which I guess is a good sign, which I don't know why I don't know, I don't really get scared that often when I'm like going to sleep, but last night I did. But it's okay. I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars, I'd say. It was entertaining. I may just be biased because it has like the teen backstory to it. And that's like one of my favorite things in movies. So maybe if you're not a fan of that, this movie won't entertain you as much. But that's basically all I have to say for my review. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.